Hello.
Okay.
I've never been here at the start.
Woo. Hey.
One of these men are actually a doctor. Guess who it is?
I know where I am on the totem pole of medicine, okay? Like, I don't expect me to like save someone who's choking or dying on a plane.
Keep that in mind. Be like, this guy's a doctor. I can pull it up. Pull it up, Danny. We were actually really close. Yeah. Really close. Here we go. We were 94%. We actually did better than last week. So it's close. It's close. Yeah, I had an extra 1 day, 2 days maybe. Tyler, yeah, he did 23 also. So, and you, man,
Wow.
almost 17. So weren't quite there, but you know, we're picking up.
Oh no, you added me even though I didn't commit anything? Now it just looks like I'm lazy.
Well, we kept everyone every time it said, yeah. Oh, last
Oh,
week.
you added mine? Oh.
Yeah, I did put you.
No, I was like, I'm not in yet, so I'm not gonna say anything. Now I see that I'm in the system. Okay, shoot.
Oh, yours. Oh, I think it got messed up. But I did put you in last week for the extra 3, so that got us to 76 last week.
Ouch.
Oh, so they can hear everyone except for FJ?
Yes.
Is your mic muted on Streamlabs?
That would be so weird.
All right.
Oh, Paulie, I see your vital supplies there. Is that toilet paper?
No, just paper towel.
Oh, okay.
All right. So while FJ is trying to fix his audio.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, we came close.
I'm in. Here we go.
Okay, sweet. We came close. 94%.
Thanks, Mike.
We can keep the same goal.
Yeah.
I can add in another day, I think, because I think last week I did 4 days. Did I do 4 days? I think I did 4 days.
I gotta start doing multi-days too.
I can do 5. We can do this.
I'll try and get my lazy bum out there.
It should be warmer next week, apparently.
I think it will be, yeah. So yeah, we'll be good. 80, I think, is a good goal.
Okay.
All right, let's close this up. Yeah, I know it sucks for War because he has that arch issue.
Yeah.
I was having troubles with mine, so it helped that I switched to the stationary for now, the stationary bike. But I'll be hitting some outdoors this week too.
All right. So today, we're going to be touching on some philosophical thought experiments. Should we just do them in order, or like start from the top?
I didn't look at any of them, so
I only looked at the first
I
couple,
can't
so
remember what they are.
I can't really comment.
So yes, suggested. Hey, Warren's
How's that
here. So
Oh, so
Warren,
Warren,
do you want to go over? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just so Warren had an idea, we were close, 94% for our tracker.
Of the running target. We can't
War,
hear you.
you are muted.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I was gonna say I didn't even put anything in.
Oh, sick! So you got some?
Oh,
I thought you weren't going.
I haven't done anything because I don't want to run on it.
No,
Oh,
that's
okay,
fine. That's
okay.
fine. Don't worry about it.
I was like, I don't want you to add it, so then we
Yeah,
don't have to
rest up.
increase
Rest up, rest up.
the target.
We'll be good.
Because yeah, FJ put in some crazy miles and Tyler put some crazy miles. Dan, did you run or did you bike?
I biked.
Kyle, you throw anything in?
Negative.
Oh man, next time.
I keep forgetting the.
Well, I didn't
Or
know-
don't. You can't do it.
I didn't know why I committed to it. So I just saw myself on the list with zeros next to my name, so I was like, "Oh shoot, okay, I guess I'm in it." So
Nice.
I feel more committed now, seeing my name in there.
Cool.
Good.
The drive is good. Okay. War. Which of these have you already discussed so then we can talk about ones you haven't? Podcast example here, guys. We got the 8 philosophical thought experiments to broaden the mind.
No,
Yeah.
man. Did anybody read any of them already?
I read the first like 2 or 3.
Nope.
Okay. Let's jump on the blue experiment. That's a good one.
Alright.
Number
So for the
1.
viewers out there, the missing shade of blue. This is by a philosopher with background in art. Use thought experiments, short stories that bring out intuitions. Not possible to do these experiments in real life, but by doing them in our heads, we can learn something new about the nature of reality, about right and wrong, the existence of God, and many other topics. And this series brought some thought experiments to life from various traditions, and all were drawn by this artist illustrator. Okay, the missing shade of blue. Here it is, guys. The thought experiment. A man has seen all colors except one particular shade of blue, but he has seen other gradations of this color. And if he were to arrange them in his mind, it would become clear that there's a gap. Would he be able to fill in the color using his own imagination? Do I read the significance part now too?
Well, no, we can. Well, do you think you could fill that in? Like, even for yourself, if you're looking at that picture and there's like a shade of something missing, could you kind of visualize what that shade would be like? Just based on the shades around it?
Yes.
Yeah, so in all honesty, for me, like, it's tougher for me because I don't think I have that, like, ability for visual things, like especially with color. Like, I'm not an artsy type of person. So even just trying to, like, imagine that space filled, like, it's actually really difficult for me. I'm like, could it just be a sweater, but his sweater doesn't have that kind of hint of purple? I can... It's tough. Like, just on that straight example of colors, it's tough.
I can tell you
I'm
the cheat.
also unable to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, just knowing that something's missing, but like, I guess you just have to make up a color in your head.
Nah, man.
I don't
You
know.
guys want to know the secret? Well, this is obviously this is just my opinion. Well, they use the word shade. It's not a hue, right? So shade is just a matter of brightness. It's just like adding light or subtracting light, and you could see it could be even his sweater, but it's brighter than the darker one, and it's darker than the lighter one. And if you want, you could do it halfway if you wish, but you could even do it with light. You can add light to the darker one and change the intensity of that light, or you know what I mean? That's what I
But I
think.
mean, if it's just a matter of changing the light aspect, if he's seen all the colors, wouldn't he be able to do that in the first place?
In his head? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Would
Well, I
he
don't
be able
know.
to fill in the color using his own imagination? I think so. Yeah. I don't see why not.
I feel like for myself, even if I don't have that kind of like artsy type of mind, I could kind of hypothesize and conjecture as to what it could look like, but as to how accurate I would be, like if this is a definitive scale for color and shades, as to how close I'd be, I have no idea, but I can still kind of guess at it.
But does it have to even be blue? Why can't it even be grayscale? It doesn't.
What if you're colorblind? What
Ex-
the?
That's what I'm saying though. Like
Yeah.
you could still imagine it, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to like these paint shops, there's like 30 shades of beige, and I have like I don't know how to imagine like how that works. You know?
No, but
Royal beige.
That's a perfect example because if you were to be given a strip like that, could you like build the color strip in your mind? Like I know I wouldn't be able to think, okay, there's 8 shades of beige that I have to put on this strip. Like I wouldn't be able to picture that many differences. I don't know.
How are there
Seen
50
all
shades of
colors
gray?
Except one particular shade. If you think about it, man, it's his sweater.
I don't know, but then I feel like the sweater's too blue for that picture.
I believe it's indigo.
That blue doesn't even exist in that spectrum, so it's gotta be that one. You've seen
Yeah.
them all.
My problem is with the provided 6 colors. Like it doesn't look like a gradient to me. That's why I have
Yeah.
that's why I have trouble trying to imagine what's missing.
I think it's that
it's
purple
true.
one that
It's
just
not even a
throws it off.
gradient.
Like if it was the first 3, then maybe because it like subtly gets a little bit more blue, but then that like 4th one is just so prominently darker.
Although I mean, like if he's seen all the different colors, the gradient he should be able to build should be really smooth, and then it'll have like one line missing in the middle, like a pixel width line.
That's true. Yeah.
So if
I'm
anything,
picking
it
apart
sounds
this
like
thing though.
if anything, it sounds like we're all guessing that this person should be able to fill in that color with his imagination.
All you guys said no at the beginning.
I mean, personally,
I couldn't do it
yeah.
if I was
Oh.
this guy.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
think-
I don't know all the colors, but this person does. So
No, he knows all of them except one.
that's what I mean. Like he
one
knows
that's
all the other
missing.
colors, so
Okay.
he
But
should be
you
able to
know
list
you know
them
more
in that-
colors than he does. Doesn't mean you have to remember them and recognize them, but knowing just means he's been exposed to all the colors except one, right?
But I mean, if he's seen all of the shades and all of the colors, aren't they just different mixes of the same primary color? So shouldn't he have seen all of them? Like, how did they have a missing one? Is my question.
Now you're reading too far into it. We're getting away from it.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
the
I'm a
situation
nerd,
is
so
this.
My
No, but that's
explanation.
how I would answer it. Is he should be able to just do it because he can play around with all the different, RGB
So-
values.
Exactly. So that's how I think of it too. Like he knows all of the RGB combinations except one, so he can actually build an entire spectrum, the color spectrum of in a circle, and he's only missing one pixel. So arguably, yes, he should be able to imagine it.
Oh, I'm missing
But-
255, 74, 37.
Exactly. So
Well,
that's how me, a nerd, would picture this question, but I think that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
okay. I mean the
It could be one.
the
pixel
challenge
off,
is the
so-
word is imagine, so it's based on, I guess, brain capacity. You've never been exposed to it. You've never observed that particular color. So can you actually imagine it if you've never been exposed to it?
Well, then I guess would it be like an extrapolation type thought?
hmm
Like he should be able to do that based off of knowledge. Like if someone had a specific knowledge base without being able to see a specific outcome that they haven't seen yet based off of their experience, you should be able to, right? I mean,
I'm starting to doubt
almost
it.
a master.
I'm starting to doubt it now.
I mean, essentially, I think for that person, like I think for anybody, we would be able to kind of draw our own personal conclusion or any kind of like conjecture as to what it could look like.
I think
Agreed?
the philosophy
but then
here
you don't
is,
really
can
know
you
if it's
imagine something you haven't seen?
So that's where the significance comes in, because the whole point of the thought experiment is, could you draw on conclusion based off of other experiences? Or can I think one of the, what was, have you guys read The Significance yet?
I
So,
can read it
like,
out loud.
Go for it.
My wonder is also like, I mean, yeah, you just imagine the color. Like, who's judging how you imagine it? Like, that color is whatever I want it to be, because there's no real.
Yeah, who's evaluating?
Who's evaluating if it's correct or not?
True.
So I don't know.
Is that word Hume? I don't even know. Hume came
That
up with
is-
this
Yeah.
thought experiment as a counterexample to his idea that we learn about the world through experience. If that's the case, we should not be able to fill in the missing shade of blue, but it seems we can. Curiously though, when I presented this drawing to friends, they thought the man's sweater was the missing shade of blue, but it isn't. So perhaps it is not so easy to fill in the gap after all. Okay. Alright.
So the whole thing about learning about the world through experience, when I was talking to Tyler about this, could we use similar experiences to learn about the world, or to be able to say that we know a place, or that we know how certain cultures live? Or one example is, I think he said he had a coworker, and he's probably going to type to me and be like, Warren, that's not exactly what we talked about. But one example would be like, okay, there's this guy, he's been watching a lot of like documentaries of a certain person, or he's been watching like biographies of a person, and he thinks that he has a very good grasp of how a certain culture lives just because he's been watching TV, or just because he's been watching Netflix. Or another example of this could be like, okay, so if I've lived in Africa and I've lived in Indonesia, could I use those experiences to figure out what it would be like to live in a Vietnam or to live in a South America?
I have one. If you know the taste of sweet, and you know the taste of sour, can you really know what sweet and sour tastes like without tasting it? I don't think you could.
I can't even think of any taste with. I can't even think of like. I can't even allude to like my smell, my sense of smell, or my sense of taste. Like I could not like bring up those experiences just on a whim.
You should get tested for COVID, man.
Thanks. Do you know what I eat? Like I don't even care about taste. I just finished a whole bowl of just straight up spinach from the box. Like I don't know what taste means.
No, but I feel that like,
but you
what,
have
if
pizza.
it's taste as an example, like I know when some people taste meals, if they're trying out cooking, they can be like, you know what would add a good kick to this? And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, but
No, tell me, please. I have no clue.
That's
I'm pretty sure
probably
I'm
because
like,
they've
yeah,
tasted it
sure, throw
before.
that in there, I'll eat it. I don't have that thought process.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I when if it were to be that taste, like the experiences of taste, I don't have that. I barely take notice of taste in my pizza. All pizza mostly tastes the same to me.
I feel
If
that.
it's got pineapple, then I know what's on it. But you throw like pepperoni, you start throwing bacon and ham, I'm not gonna really know the difference. I'm sure there
Really?
is, but like it's to me, it's meat on a pizza. I'm still gonna eat it. It doesn't taste
mean-
any worse or better.
I know what ham tastes like, and I know what bacon tastes like. They're not the
I think
same.
if you were to test me, like blindfold, and give me a bunch of pizza, like it'd be very difficult for me to determine. Oh god, it's so embarrassing. It'd be embarrassing.
Sausage.
So you should get tested
Spicy
for COVID. Spicy sauce. Well, okay. I mean, it doesn't really follow this example because you've experienced it. I think the point was not being able to experience something and then trying to imagine something you haven't experienced.
I from the patients that I see and everything, like, I see schizophrenics, I see people who've gone through some serious abuse and everything. No way can I imagine what they're actually going through. Like, or,
Oh.
I can try and, but they just view the world different. And that's not something that I can, ever kind of experience. Like, if they're hearing voices or seeing things and stuff, like, their perception of reality is completely different. So I don't know if I could ever just like, see that as much as like my experiences.
So, what's the right answer? I don't want to leave it to debate. What's the right answer, Hume? Okay.
I think we're gonna have to accept that for all of these conversations.
Yeah.
There will be
Damn
no right answer. Unless
We're
Paul
Asian.
he's a doctor.
He's the.
You see him, by the way, on a plane, he can save your life, so go nuts.
No. Please don't. I'll just pretend I'm asleep.
If you're having schizophrenic attacks on a plane, he can save your life. Okay. Moving on to the experience machine. Wait, what?
Hold on, wait. Still thinking about Paul's example of, what some of the patients are experiencing, but it doesn't quite, like, you could still kind of guess as to how they're feeling. Like, they've obviously told you how they're feeling, and they've told you their specific examples of what they're going through.
Yeah.
Have you, like, you can try to put yourself in their shoes, and obviously you won't know exactly.
Yeah.
But similar to like being able to tell a certain shade or hue of color, you could still kind of get not to say an idea for it, but you could still kind of guess.
Yeah, like, it's weird because, a lot of it is our experience of reality is our senses, right? So we have, tactile touch, tactile taste, sight and everything. So, like, it's weird when I get some patients that are kind of describing something that's like either a mix of something, like, seeing sounds or, feeling, like, feeling colors or saying stuff along those lines. And especially if they have like a religious preoccupation, they're like, I felt God and God was talking and I could hear the voices and things of that sort. Like, when it gets like that kind of stuff, I don't know. I just don't know. So,
So the answer is no. The right answer is no. Well, to know something, is that what you said? Is it to be able to observe it with our five senses? At least one of them? Or all of them? Is to know something, you have to be able to observe
that's
it?
how we perceive reality, right? So.
Right. And then to be able to reproduce it, it had to be something we've observed personally. Like, if someone were to say, like, yeah, I saw a ghost, and if I've never seen a ghost, I can't imagine seeing one. But just, there's just depictions of it, and, like, whatever, people might talk about it, or, like, illustrate, or make a movie, or make all these graphics, or whatever. But we won't, I couldn't say I could know it unless I've experienced it personally, right? So...
But that's not just on your senses. Like, it could just be a thought that could mean something real for you. Because even the concept of love, it's not something you can legit feel, smell, taste. I mean, you could hear someone say, I love you, but at the same time, it's not something that's tangible or something that's physical. It's a thought that you perceive to be real.
In the brain.
So even then, even to have the thought of what you think these patients might go through, or if I were to think about what it would be like to live in a different country that might be somewhere in the average of Africa and Asia, I could have real thoughts of what I think it might be like, but I probably won't really know. So going back to the whole colors on the wall, I could have a real thought of what I think it looks like, But is that right? Is that wrong?
Would he be able to fill in the color using his own imagination?
Again, this is why I say I could guess at it.
It would just be
but
wrong.
it will most likely be wrong. Like I'd be painting a picture or painting a color that I think is correct, and somebody would be like, "No, you're stupid." But is that really wrong though? Because if they don't know either, who's actually right?
Can you imagine something you don't know?
Yeah, we can.
I had a funny dream last night, which can answer that.
Tell us about it.
Let's hear
Now
it.
I'm curious.
I was chatting with this girl that I've never met, right? And I was like, "You look familiar. Do you?" And then I guessed that she was related to a friend of mine. The weird part is, her face was not a face I know. It's a face that I imagined that was a combination of a friend's face and somebody else's face. So I made up a person. I met her. I was chatting with her. It was strange. I remember it now because what happened was I woke up and I was like, "That's the weirdest dream." And I wrote it down on my phone. I was like, "I have to tell my friend about this dream." And it's funny because it kind of relates to this. It's like I was able to imagine someone's face that doesn't exist.
But what if she does exist?
I mean, she might.
What if you
Well,
saw her and you kept that subconsciously? You're like, oh,
No.
she's cute, and then just like years later, she pops up in your head again.
But isn't that like, you know,
Isn't it-
going back to the RGB thing, like your friends R and the other friends B, and you just kind of mix it together. And you get,
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe I'm using this subconscious thing to fill in that missing shade of blue in my dream. But does that mean I know? Does that mean I know this thing is real? And is it real? Well, I just made up this person, so this person is probably not real. But I mean,
So
But
in
very,
that
very
version,
but
strange.
does that
there's
mean you
elements
can
of
do it?
creativity in there though, like animation, like drawing a cartoon. Like those aren't real, but there's an element of creativity there.
I should also ask is this weird, or have you guys invented people you don't know as well?
Yeah, dreams.
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was, what's the word? Voluntary. Like dreaming is kind of just your brain's doing its own thing.
Yeah, but like most of the time, they're people from your life. Like when I think of dreams that I remember, it's characters from my life. Definitely, like it could be my cousin back when we were 5, like baby cousin. Like we go back in time, and it's and I relive pieces of my childhood, but they're like memories of people. But this was strange because this was not a friend. This was like a random person that was like mixed up with, I guess, a mix of friends or something. It was very
So
weird.
it was recognizable to you in the dream anyway. You felt like you knew this person.
Well, it was kind of like, I was like, are you really, are you related to this person? And it turns out, like, I guess they were. I don't know.
I've had dreams where I thought so at the time of dreaming, it's like, okay, that's that person, and then I wake up and think back, wait, that actually looked like somebody else. It wasn't that person. So I'll gaslight myself into thinking it was somebody else. The other part of this is like I also have the dreams where I'm pretty sure I'll dream it once or twice, and then somewhere down the road it actually happens.
Yep.
That whole deja vu feeling. Those are
I get
wild. So
that
I'm like,
as well.
if Kyle, you just seen this girl, and what if she's real? Give
That would
it
be-
4
that
months.
would be
Oh,
extra.
horrible.
That'd be actually
No.
cool if this
That's actually what I
imaginary
wanted
girl
to
was
do.
real.
It's because I can't remember. I was talking to one of you. Maybe it was just dating, but I have like really, really specific deja vu scenarios It's so scary. Like
Same.
one of my most recent ones was oh, it was when Michaela and I were dropping off cookies to her cousins at their place who have never been there before. And it was just like we're standing at the doorway, you know, we're just talking. They're where exactly place where they are, the stairs, like just and then in just like just an instant, it's like the last 5 seconds, I've seen this before. That exact placement, those exact people. But I mean, this is only like the second time I'm conversing with them. But it's like, it's not just them being there. It's like the whole surrounding, the exact conversation for like 10 seconds. And it's so scary. It's I don't know. I have them a lot, and it
I get
freaks me
them.
out.
I get them pretty. Not to say frequently, but I do have them, and they're vivid. Like, there was one time I had a dream. I'm standing somewhere, and I didn't know where I was standing in the dream, but all I could see was my dad at the counter. I'm looking at his bag. I turn around, I look at somebody else, and homie's got a box of tissue, and he's holding up a ton of like botched up tissues to his eye, and it's like kind of bloody. And then a few months pass, and then I break my clavicle, and then my dad takes me to the hospital 5, 6 in the morning to go get it checked out, and that same thing happened. Homie with the tissue box and the tissue in his eye. Ugh. I was like, no way, this is real right now.
Right, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
So you're
I've had
saying
similar things.
you saw it in your mind 3 months prior,
Hmm.
and then you observed it in reality, and remembered that you saw it in your mind
Hmm.
3 months
So
prior.
that's where things get messed up. I'm like, is this a bias or some sort of fallacy where it's like I'm putting this in my mind thinking that I saw this before, but really it's never happened before, and it just feels like I'm
That's what I thought of when you guys described what you just described. Like there's some sort of level of conscious thought there that went to sub, and it was like it planted a memory of something that maybe didn't occur 3 months prior, but now you have this memory that it did, and that's what deja vu could be, like this created memory that feels real. I don't know.
That's what I used to think because, like I said, like this has been happening my whole life. But it would obviously be first happening with people I already knew, places I've already been. But then, like, if I'm experiencing a different place and meeting new people, and it happens, I'm just like, yeah, I swear I had this dream like a year ago, and like I can remember the exact situation. Like it's not a long time. No, in dreams you remember like 10 seconds. It could be very specific, but it's just that short period of time. So yeah, I don't know. I thought
You
it was
gotta-
just me seeing a situation in my head, and then I just happened to run into it. But when it started happening in cases like that, I'm like, how could I have known?
Right.
I
go
have,
get tested for COVID.
I guess so. That seems like it's one of the
like
cases.
I'm kind of with Dan because I had one where like I just swear people like there's someone out there just fucking with time, because I have one where there's like a setup, so I'm experiencing the thing, and I go, oh, we're doing this again, and then I say, okay, well, if it's happening the same way, my dad's gonna walk in right now and he's gonna say this, and then it happens. So it's not even like that level that FJ mentioned,
Like
where I'm tricking
reactionary.
myself.
Mhm.
It's prediction. It's
You
like I've seen this
called it.
before. I call it, and then it happens, and I'm like, and it's happened maybe like 3 times in my life. So I'm not saying it happens a lot, but that's when I'm like, someone's fucking with time, and I get all mad. I'm like, someone is messing with time, because it's happened. It's very eerie. It's supernatural to me for sure, but what
Okay.
can I do, right? Because it happens in an instant, and you just gotta move on. So I just basically laugh at myself, and I just keep going.
Can I ask? So the experience is, you're recognizing something. You predict. Is the prediction out loud? Like, do you say it out loud or something?
I don't say it out loud.
You think it. Like
I think it. Yeah.
something's gonna happen, and then it
Yeah.
happens.
It would be
Then-
something like, and now a red car is gonna drive by and I'm in McDonald's and I'm looking out the window, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now like a red Lamborghini is gonna go by, and then somebody's gonna comment on it. Oh, look at this red Lamborghini. You know, like
Okay.
it's
okay.
only happened a few times, but it really freaks me out. Yeah, so I'm kind of with Dan. Like,
So can
it's
I ask,
very strange.
after the prediction and after the occurrence, do you acknowledge it at the moment? Like, what do you you know what I mean? Like, do you make some sort of like record of it?
First, no, I don't write it down or anything. Like the first time it happened, I think I told someone. So I know the first time this weird thing happened was when it was a shame because I was chatting with my cousins and my brother about the ending of Jurassic Park. And I said, "Oh, my favorite is the ending when the pteranodons or the pterodactyls, like they get free, and then you see them like balancing. It pans up, and the one's balancing on a branch, and just like, and then it pans away. I was like, oh, it's so epic. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, that's the ending. It's so epic. Now, Jurassic Park 2 had not come out. So what happened was Jurassic Park 2 came out. And if you remember in that one, there's the aviary, whatever, the one for the flying dinosaurs, the big
Right.
dome. And they crash out of it at the end. And then it was basically the end that I thought was there happened. And I was looking at it with some of my cousins. And I was like, "Oh my god, it's the ending. It's the ending that I told you about, what, you know, that I was telling you about. I don't know how many, maybe like a couple years before." But they didn't remember that conversation. So they were like, "You're crazy." They're like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh my god, dude, like years ago we chatted, I said this is my favorite scene."
Sus.
And it was that scene. Like if you go and watch it now, you see it. It's like they get free, the flying ones get free, and at the end of the movie, it's like balancing on like a big branch sticking out of a mountain or something, and that makes a noise. I was like, oh my god.
Tyler says, I don't experience deja vu in a sense of things happening, but more like the emotions and how I'm feeling in a particular moment that feels like an overwhelming nostalgia. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
very different.
specific.
Like I've
events, it's
experienced
like,
that too, but I know this, like when this happens, it's like I know it's happened around you guys before, maybe, and I would be like, yeah, oh my gosh, I just had the craziest deja vu right now, like this thing.
no, not this again. Inside.
It's happening again.
This part again. Who's that one?
It's definitely not like that though.
Oh.
Which is funny because this conversation kind of leads into the next.
Yeah,
The
Mike
next
just
one.
said, but if they don't remember, LOL. I'm skeptic about deja vu, or the idea of it. I do think it's, I just think it's in there. Something's being created. That's just because I'm skeptic.
I think someone has a time machine.
Yeah, I think my most recent one is the one that's like, because I remember having that conversation with those people, happened to be Michaela's cousins, before I met Michaela. Ergo, before I met any of her family, and I remember thinking like who are these people? Like I don't know.
Like you
And then it
imagine
happened.
you imagined it,
Yeah.
and you acknowledged. I just imagined a conversation with people I don't know, in a place.
No, not imagine. Like it would. I don't know. Maybe
Like a dream, right?
it was more like a dream. Like I'll have a lot of like weird random dreams, but like I know I've been in that situation before, because it would be like, okay, when we were there, I remember specifically they were talking about the hot chocolate bombs, and her cousin Julia went to the kitchen to grab a package, and it's just that small thing that was just like,
Sorry.
this has happened before. I don't know. And I think I told Michaela that too when we were leaving. I'm like, I just had the craziest deja vu. It's like, oh.
Sus.
But yeah. Well, next time it happens, I'll let you guys know.
All right. So that was a bit of a tangent. Where are we at now? What are we on the next one or no?
The next one is
We're on
it's
Shades of Green now. I'm kidding. Podcast example. So experience machine.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to read that out?
Sure. The thought experiment. The experience machine is a special device that can give you any experience you would like. Do you want to be a famous jockey or a writer? Would you like to have many friends? The machine would make you believe it's really happening, while you are in reality floating in a tank, electrodes attached to your brain. Would you plug into this machine for life? Your life would be pre-programmed to maximize your pleasure, but while plugged in, you think it's real. So pretty much, Matrix.
Guys, crazy. I feel like I've seen this before.
How did I know that was coming up?
This is deja vu. It's deja vu.
I know Kung Fu.
Michaela says you did. It was an interesting experience.
Yes, I did tell her.
Okay.
So yeah, so Matrix, or what's that? What's the space one? Wally? Is it Wally?
Yeah.
When they're plugged in, or Surrogates, I think is another one.
Yeah.
Wally?
They were just fat people that
They're just
didn't-
fat people
Were
with,
they?
with
Okay, then
advertisements
it would be
in front of them, and they don't have to
Surrogate. I
move.
think it was Surrogates.
Well, or even like, the Ready Player One.
Pretty much just Matrix to me.
It would. I'm thinking more Matrix than
Or
anything.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Anyways,
Sword Art, they were
it's
forced
great.
to stay in.
Yes, but that's it's that thing. Like
They're directly connected
VR
to
everything.
the
yeah.
neurons that'll fire to make them, I don't know, move their body in the way.
They want.
Ignorance
Yeah.
is bliss.
So the
Cypher.
question is, would you do it or not? Is that the question? Would
The
you?
question is, would you plug
would
into
you
it?
plug into the Matrix or not?
But it says your life would be pre-programmed to maximize, but while plugged in, you would think it is real. So is the question, would you plug in?
Would you want to be happy for the rest of your life, more or less? Because it's saying
So like
that you can
so
experience.
like a Total Recall thing. So you plug in knowing that you're going to go into that situation, but then while you're in that, you don't know that
It's the Matrix, it's the blue pill. Like you don't know
Yeah.
that the real world's out there because what you experience is real.
Well, that's
So you
it's contradictory to say. Hold on. Your life would be pre-programmed to maximize your pleasure, but while plugged in, you would think it's real. But you've made the choice already to plug in. So
So I
Yeah, so
guess
once you've made the choice, what you're experiencing now to you is real, but in actuality, you've just plugged in.
no, you're experiencing it's real, but are you going to remember that you made that choice or not?
I don't
No,
think so.
no,
Because
I don't
I
think
think
so.
I think it's worded like the life that you're gonna live is just maximized for, maximum pleasure.
What you
But
read,
how do
FJ,
you know
implies that
Right,
so when you say you think, like, if you think it's real, then that implies you don't know about the real world outside of this
Yeah,
realm.
like that's the new reality. You don't know about previous. It's kind of like, would you reset your life using this machine,
Mm-hmm.
but not knowing that you reset
you make
it?
the choice once.
Yeah.
You take the blue pill or the red pill.
So what would you guys do?
I'm a hard no.
I don't think I would.
Also philosophically, if all you experience is happiness, you don't know it's happiness because you can't compare it to sadness or rage or
It crashed the
fear.
Matrix. Remember?
It
So,
did. That was the first iteration of the Matrix that nobody accepted because everything was perfect.
yeah, because if everything is, yeah, it's like that's not fun.
You know what I think about?
That's not life to me. Like if everything is perfect. So.
I think about Bedazzled. I
Haven't
want to
seen
be
it.
rich and powerful. Dude, you have Elizabeth Hurley and
I know it's Elizabeth Hurley, but that's all I got.
I don't
no,
remember it.
you've
Yeah.
seen it, bro. The
I've seen
dolphin.
it, but I forget it.
Yes, you have, dude. Don't do this, man.
I'm so sorry. My memories
F you.
suck.
You're getting old, bro. I
You don't
got
need to tell me that. Like I
This will
know.
spark it.
Mike
Some people just
says
have bad
if it's
memory,
guaranteed
I think.
happiness, then blue pill. LOL. Blue pill is bliss, right? Ignorance.
Blue pill.
Well, the thing is, the decision we're making adds evaluation to the scenario. It's like, why wouldn't you, Ten? Just say why. Kyle, you said yeah, it's just happy. It's not really happiness. Let's just say it's pre-programmed in a way that you wanted your current life to follow and whatever. But there's still challenges, there's still struggles, because that's what makes you happy. Overcoming, whatever. It's just programmed the way you... It doesn't necessarily mean you're, all happy and smiles all the time. But it's programmed in a way to maximize your pleasure. It doesn't necessarily mean it's always pleasurable and it's always happy. It's just the maximum of what you wanted it to be. Everything that you've kind of like sought out to do, that you achieve.
I just think, yeah, I'm one of those red pill guys.
If you get everything that you want,
Fundamentally.
does that make you happy?
I mean,
Well,
already.
if we set
listening-
goals and you achieve them, that's the dopamine.
Yeah, but I mean, because if you try to achieve things and you don't, doesn't it make you happier when you achieve the things or achieve other things that you are also going for?
But maybe that's part of the maximum
And you have
pleasure.
the-
It's part of the formula. Is the failure.
And knowing that before I make the decision, knowing that I could pre-plan my entire life, and then you just jump in and then live it.
And press play, yeah.
Just even that, I'm even more against it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a fundamental thing with me. Like I just don't care. I'm just like, what? No,
Well, yeah, because
why would I
it's
do that?
like
That's
there's no
garbage.
free will, right? You take away control.
And then I'll be like, so what is it? So I'm just lying there, really? Like I'm just lying there with the
But what-
electrodes on my head?
But
No,
what's destiny then? Do you believe in destiny?
not that. I don't really believe in destiny. No.
Okay. I think
I'm
the
not
way
a
it's the
determinist.
way the experiment is presented implies like morality and like, not just quality of life, but like meaning of life, and it feels fake right at the point of making the decision. Yeah, I guess.
It's basically like the guy in the Matrix who hates real life
yeah,
and he
Cypher.
wants
Yeah,
to go back in. It's him,
yeah.
and he says, "Heck yeah, this
Yeah.
sucks. I want to
That's
go.
Mike.
I want to go back." So that's Mike. Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe we all could relate to a certain character. Like I don't know who's like me, but someone
Neo.
that really doesn't like it.
Mike says,
Man,
I
but-
think the experiment is maximize pleasure. Doesn't necessarily mean there is no pain. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Even knowing that, I still am with my original.
Yeah, takes out free will. Or does it?
I think for me, it depend. Well, it doesn't really depend. I would feel a sense of duty to not go back in. I feel like there would be a need to not being plugged in. There would be a need to maintain things outside of that. I would feel like I wouldn't be happy with myself to know that my life is pre-planned and that it's just maximized for that pleasure. I feel like there's a reason I'm outside. There's a reason to to be given this choice. I would feel a sense of duty to stay outside, and maybe, if the world's going to shambles, then I would feel the duty to like fix it. If the world is doing fine, even on the outside, and the robots are like, oh, chill, happy go lucky, oh, you're outside the matrix, no big deal. I would still feel the need to be outside, and my curiosity would take over to be like, how did we end up like this in the first place? Why are people why do people opt to plug in? Are there people that opted to plug out?
Mike says it's not the same as Cypher because in this simulation it guarantees maximized pleasure, whereas Cypher still was open to sort of like a random chance, but he's just put in a more comfortable scenario. Like,
Well, the deal was he gets a ton of money and like super hot ladies. Right?
yeah,
Like,
he'll be popular and like wealthy
sounds like
and powerful.
maximizing pleasure to me. But okay.
Well, Max, there's still a chance though. There's still a chance that he can.
No, I'm just saying. I'm trying to relate the two. Like that's the relation that I see.
Right. Here's the thing. If you were born into poverty, you had nothing, and you like starvation too, and that's all you knew and that's all you had, and then you get told about this machine, that's different.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
This also has a big assumption. Like it assumes that you're like by yourself in the world. You know? You have no family, no friends, no loved ones. It assumes like you by yourself. Because if you had a wife and kids, and they say, "Hey, you want to hook up to this thing forever?" No,
Screw that.
because people are depending. I kind of have a wife and kids to take care of. Like, leave me alone.
But what if wife and kids are like, we want to plug in, Dad?
Well, I guess that changes things. But
Everyone else is doing it.
Mike says, with these thought experiments, we should be thinking about what the experiment gives us. If we add all these extra conditions that are outside what is written, then yes, the decision changes? Is that what he means? My choice is based on whatever is written.
It sounds like he's just saying stick to what's given in that verbiage, because the minute you start adding hypotheticals, you're no longer within that same experiment, or you're not in that same thought experiment. I think for me it's just an easy no. I wouldn't want to plug in. If that's the case, if that's what's given in that experiment, or that's the scenario presented, it's an easy no. I don't need to plug in.
It's a no for those who already have defined value in their current life. It's a no. It's an easy no. But if you haven't, or if you see, well, not to say that, Mike, you haven't defined value in your current life because you take blue pill.
I was just gonna say,
but
I don't even think that's a factor, F. Like, you could be poor and still not want to plug in.
sure, but it's because I didn't say value had to be wealth, though. I
True.
said value in your current life, right? Like, it could be whatever that would be. Choice is valuable. Like, people want choice, so. So yeah, not to say that wealth it's only on wealth, but I think it's a simple no, because it's being asked, and we already know what's real, even though we're gonna be made to think it's real later. We know what's real now, and it's like, well, you're gonna be given something fake.
How do we know
Is it really
it's
fake, though?
real right now?
Because we were talking about how, like, you could have real thoughts, like love. Is that still real? You could have love in the Matrix.
Synapses and stuff.
Define real.
Tyler
the spoon real?
says Even with the situation with the dad, if he gets to a point where his family is self-sustaining and his family would be okay with him doing it, would he still not want to take it? Again, it's just a matter of how much you
if he
think.
didn't feel like if he
If
was
he didn't
leaning
have
towards his-
obligations
Yeah.
or responsibilities.
and yeah, those responsibilities. See, but that's the other thing, because it's an experience machine. Like, the experience isn't like, okay, so this experience machine of you being a famous jockey. If I was actually a famous jockey, I assume that the machine would give an identical experience, right? Like, you shouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Hmm. But
The only difference here is you're choosing
the choice,
the
yeah.
experience that you want to go through. I don't know. I still wouldn't, but I mean, I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective.
From the someone who would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
It'd
think
be
the
scary if-
significance little part, I think we basically covered it.
Sounds like a drug.
It's
The
colored
experience
blue.
machine is a drug. Because imagine just having like a shitty, like a really bad day, or just like a really like crappy time with COVID, and then you just escape to experience machine, and then end up at sword art, and just like, yeah, let's go hunt some pigs.
See that the sword art thing to me is possibly the real future. It's like you can escape into a world, become someone else, be a hero, and when you're hungry, you just log out. Like, but the experience is going to be very addictive because it's going to be awesome. So you will see issues, but
I mean, that's
I'm pretty sure we're headed towards that.
still technically real experiences, just in a VR realm. But the experience is real. What you're feeling and what you're understanding to be a good time and a success to you or to that person that's part of that realm, it's still real.
Okay, well, let's look
I
at
mean,
this.
but,
from a
but you
different perspective.
know of the real world, like you know you're gonna log out for dinner. That's what I mean. Like you're
Yeah.
doing you log into Sword Art because it's your game. It's fun.
Temporary. Yeah.
It's a temporary thing. It's awesome, and then you log out. And I think it's legit gonna get there.
So what if this was like an Avatar experience? Not like cartoon Avatar, but like movie Avatar.
Like Turuk Muktu?
Yeah. Where you have to choose and your physical body is, lying in a case somewhere while your brain fires off to an avatar. Would you be Jake and choose that other life?
If I had the choice to come out of it, I totally would, just because of curiosity's sake.
What
Choice
if
to come out
what
of
if
what?
you were
Sorry?
Jake and you're making that final push to switch bodies?
He
and there's no
transferred.
going
Yeah,
back?
he transferred his consciousness to the body.
Oh. Tough one.
Gaia.
That's where it gets dicey. If there's a choice to go in and out, hell yeah, I would totally want the experience.
If I knew my life was gonna suck, if I knew war was coming, if I knew pollution was gonna destroy the earth.
War's
if I knew-
coming? Oh god! No, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, you knew. So war's coming. Pollution is.
If let's say born into time where World War One, World War Two, or
I just came.
or even if like medieval times. Obviously, technology wasn't there then. But yeah, if like say pollution or greenhouse gases are to the point where it's like you can't save the Earth, it's gonna last only like 20 years left. But in this thing, I don't know, somehow, maybe they can even you can live forever in this thing in your mind.
I mean, we're going back to the mic thing where we're adding our own little stipulations, but yeah, we can definitely think of times where the answer would be yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Would you
Okay.
plug into this machine for life? In those instances, I would.
Yeah, 100%.
In my current life,
Like if it was
No.
Jake and he could somehow be pumped IV so that he didn't have to come out, would he prefer that because he can use his legs? He can get different experiences because he's able to use parts of his body that he couldn't.
I totally forgot that was a
I
thing.
would be tall in this thing.
Yeah, and he's
I
also like
could-
one of the best soul like warriors too, right? Isn't he? Doesn't he become like king or something?
Torokmakto.
Because
Because he cheated. He cheated and he fell on the biggest thing.
I forget. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we did this properly, but I think we've exhausted it.
Dede says 15 years tops.
In the
Not
Matrix.
part of the choices,
Years.
Dede.
we can count on Elon to make this.
It's life or not. All right. Who wants to read the next one?
Okay, I will read it.
I'll have it open.
The child at the
The
well.
child at the well.
That's a cake.
All right, so the thought experiment. Hold on, I can't see. Mengzi considers the case of a child who is about to fall in a well. Without exception, you would feel alarm and distress if you saw this. This would not be because you hope to gain the favor of the parents, praise from the neighbors and friends, because you dislike the cries of the child, or because your reputation would suffer if you did not try to help the child. From this, Mengzi concludes that the feeling of compassion is fundamental to humans. I'm sorry. I'm just looking for. Did I read that wrong?
No. you were
So
right.
it's a statement, not really a question.
Yeah.
So
do,
it's a
do we
statement,
agree with
and
it or not?
And it's saying, do you agree with this or not?
That compassion is fundamental to humans. That's the statement.
Yes. Mengzi
False.
concludes that the feeling of compassion is fundamental to humans. So sort of like an
Next.
instinct. This one's easy.
Wrong.
It's wrong. All right, next one. All right, so
Do you think there's anyone that thinks that wouldn't react that way? Because if there is someone, that means it's not a fundamental feeling.
Yeah. Sociopaths.
I think I remember reading this one and thought it was an easy answer. I think me and Tyler just kind of like skimmed it and be like, yeah, it's. We were, I was
Your
under
answer
the
was yes?
yeah. I was like, it's probably.
It makes sense because I couldn't imagine someone not reacting that way. Like seeing a baby at the side of a well and
You can't
thinking,
imagine it because you haven't experienced it.
So if I plug into a machine and this situation happened, will those same electrodes fire off that feeling of compassion?
And is the kid wearing blue? As a jockey? No. Okay, so no. No. Compassion is fundamental to humans. Like no. Why would you relate compassion to the feeling of alarm? Because if you can imagine yourself in a scenario where if you were a child on a well, you know the dangers of what could happen, and is that compassion? It's like compassion. Someone define compassion for me.
Danny.
Pulling it up. Here we go, guys.
I'm sorry, yeah.
What is compassion?
So as the person that's observing a kid, there's a few ways this could go down. Thinking about my reaction, I would be like, I'm running for this kid and I'm pulling them off right away, even if it means I'm throwing them off of the well. Like whatever it takes to get them away from falling, I'm gonna do it. There's the other type of person where potentially somebody might be like, yo, if I save this kid, I'm gonna get some money out this, or I might get rewarded, or I'm gonna be revered as an awesome person. Like there could be an ego part of this. There's the other type of person be like, holy crap, there's a kid there, I'm froze. What do I do? Do I stand here? Should I run? Am I wasting time just thinking? I'm too scared. What if I screw up?
Let's be honest. Some people are gonna whip out their phones
Also
and just,
that.
and just record.
But I think the idea is the initial feeling is like, oh my gosh, this kid's gonna fall.
Is concern.
Someone has to do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's me or somebody else, like that kid's gonna fall. I think that's the idea.
They're saying that is compassion.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
FJ's like, maybe not.
The resulting actions after might not go with the initial feeling of compassion. I agree with Kyle. Some people will be like, oh my god.
Especially if
Tyler
they
says
think
even
they're
if it
not
was
close
Hitler.
enough to get him. Like if they're not close enough and they're just like, I can't do anything.
We would totally do it.
And they think that in like a split second and then the phone comes up. Did you see that on probably Reddit? This illegal immigrant in France saved a baby that was hanging from a balcony, like with its own like little arms. I think the baby's dad was like barely reaching, and this guy climbs up from the outside of the building, like muscle ups onto each balcony to the baby and just grabs the baby, and then the prime minister gave him immediate citizenship. I think it happened today. I think I saw it on Reddit today. It was insane.
Was it the black guy who climbed
Yeah,
like 4
yeah, he's
floors?
an African guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Sorry,
it
what
was
country is
amazing.
this?
And so that made me think. This obviously made me think of that.
Sorry, what country was that?
This is France,
Oh,
and
France.
the guy was probably from like maybe Nigeria. Well, I guess they have a lot of French African refugees that head to France, like UFC
Oh.
heavyweight
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou.
Is that France or UK? Regardless, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
seen a video of a
It's
dude
just- it's
saving
just
the baby
crazy.
like that.
Yeah, or like the one where the guy sacrifices his legs to save the kid. There's a runaway car heading towards a store or something, just not slowing down at all, and the dad or just some adult grabs the kid, lifts up the kid, and the car hits him. It's just insane. But yeah,
There was one in Ontario. It might have been Brampton. There was kids crossing a crosswalk. There's 2 cars in the right lane. The left lane's open, and then the guy at the crosswalk who's in the car waiting for the kids to cross, he notices a speeding vehicle in the left lane, jumps out of his vehicle, and runs towards that speeding vehicle, kicks the side of the car, probably breaking his leg, just to get them to slow down. He managed to get that car to slow down, like they reacted in time and didn't hit the kids. But that guy, after he kicked the car, yeah, his leg wasn't the same.
damn.
So
I mean, going back to this,
Yeah, is this
so was he compassionate?
compassion?
Okay, so I looked up the word fundamental. And so yeah, compassion we already know is feeling of sympathy and pity, concern for suffering, and fundamental is a necessary base or core of central importance. I don't think compassion, does that mean like does that necessarily mean it's innate? Or like,
I think that's what they're saying. Like we're like
because I don't think it is.
instinct. I think that's what they're saying here. Like you can't help but feel distress for the kid by the will.
As an adult, but were you taught that?
I'm sure over time
No,
you're nurtured
that's
in such a
this
way.
is saying no.
See, this is a tough one. If he's like measuring this or kind of concluding this off of people's initial reaction, isn't there just like a small percent of people that are gonna be like, "Cool story, I don't care though." And in that,
like I didn't think people would initially have that thought.
I mean, there is a chance. There's like, I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm out.
Yeah,
Well, you
That's
know
the
what?
feeling you
Even
get when
I
Michael
would-
Jackson put his baby out over the balcony.
I'd still say no. Yeah, like
I think if there's any percentage of people that would say, I'm not doing anything about it, or cool story, I don't care. If there's any small percent of people that say that, then compassion probably isn't necessarily innate, or there's no real way to prove if it's innate because over time, that person or that small percentage of people that say, I ain't doing anything, that has nothing to do with me, maybe they just weren't raised or nurtured or trained in a way to have that kind of compassion for another person or another baby.
You could argue that their innate compassion was damaged.
Also, that.
So you can say that they are not normal. Something happened to them that damaged their innate compassion, which is a psychopathology. Like it can be that kind of thing can be diagnosed, sort of.
I'd like to believe compassion is innate to everyone and everyone can be compassionate to a certain extent, even if it's a little bit, and the hope is everyone's compassionate to a very high extent and just loving to everybody. But like, of course, there's going to be people that don't show it, that don't have that same level of compassion for others or empathy. They just, yeah, over time they wasn't developed in them.
I feel like, yeah, I guess this is towards adults because maybe kids won't really know the difference.
yeah, they don't know the danger.
Especially kids the same age as this baby here.
Yeah,
But I think for adults, there should be some type of parental instinct that sees any baby near danger and feels like something's wrong. Like potential danger just makes your heart jump a beat no matter what. Like the well, or things that we see, like a kid walking kind of close to the road. That happens with me all the time. When I see like a mom and a son or a daughter, and then the mom's not on the roadside, and the child's on the roadside, my heart skips a beat because I'm like, you never know, and I feel like there should be an innate parental instinct to feel distress in this case.
there's a lot of they're so short and generic that it's written in a way for it to avoid certain details, but you can't really answer it without details. Like it's assuming too that that you've learned, for one, the danger, two, like is there bias, is there discrimination, is there if racism was involved, or all
That's
those
true,
other
because-
prejudice and everything like that. So which one takes over?
Because if you hate Chinese people, maybe you look at that and want to kick the baby in the well. Because
Right.
I mean, depending on what kind of era you grew up in, there were a lot of kids who were brainwashed during wars that saw the other side as animals, as pests, less than human, because the adults all around them taught them that, So in those cases, I go back to that their innate feeling of compassion is damaged because they were indoctrinated, basically. Like they're brainwashed to think in an incompassionate way. In that case.
When I read this, I don't think Mengzi was necessarily wrong, but I don't think he's necessarily right either.
I'm gonna say he's wrong.
Like, there's no way to prove.
So he developed the theory that humans have 4 roots or sprouts, as he
Again,
called
it's a
them,
theory.
for morality. Ren, humility or
Ren.
compassion. Yi, righteousness. Lee
Lee.
ritual propriety. Oh, ritual propriety, and Z wisdom. These sprouts are present in all human beings, but they need to be cultivated in order to flourish, just like plants require water to grow. This thought experiment explores the idea that humans are innately compassionate.
Day says he's definitely wrong. I would do it if it was Hitler because I don't want someone worse taking over Hitler. Wait, what? I don't know what.
You mean like a baby that's Hitler?
That was another question that came up. If you had the chance to save Hitler, would you do it?
That is very,
Like knowing the future?
yeah, like knowing that that baby on the well is baby Hitler.
Yeah, but butterfly effect.
That's really that's a very thought-provoking question.
Instinct would be I would save Hitler. It's a baby. Hitler or not, I'm saving a baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The compassionate side.
I don't know. if
So
that's
imagine you're
compassion.
that dude that actually saved baby Hitler, and you're just like, oh my god, I saved that kid. What did I do?
Yeah,
I claim BS. I would save. Day says.
It's a baby.
Who's
I
he
would
claiming
still go
BS
for the
to?
same.
any of us that's saving Hitler, I'm saving a baby. I don't see Hitler as Hitler. I'd see baby as baby.
Right, that's
It's
yeah.
like you have this label on top of his head. Future Hitler. Like it's like
Everyone's L with a death note and can see people's. Wait, you can't see
bro.
names. You can see hot life. Never mind.
in like Chinese dynasties and stuff, or even North Korea, like you know who the heir to the throne is, like you, and if you had the opportunity, you know that baby's gonna be a dictator. You know that's Kim Jong Il's son or whoever. Would you kill this baby? That's terrible.
because of this.
I mean, he's just gonna have more babies. Are you gonna kill all the babies?
Nah, Day YouTube's good, but it depends if you want everyone to read it at once.
Plot twist: there's just a pile of babies in that well.
That got dark.
Oh man, I just pictured like 300.
That
Like,
has to be what humans would do.
But they're babies.
Oh man.
that was 300, man. All the like crappy babies were just thrown into that pit.
All right.
Those were all like baby skulls.
In that picture, that guy's an imposter and like sending people to their deaths, and he's just trying to run away right now.
Oh, so Day was saying you never know because of the save. Maybe Hitler becomes a good person
But if you don't save him, he dies.
until he becomes Hitler, and did what he did. And it's on you.
It's a magic well. He falls down and just like evolves into adult Adolf Hitler.
All those millions are on you.
No, that's still on Hitler. It's not on me. Just because I saved him early on in life, it's still an individual's choice to do the things he did.
It's true. But then you have to adopt him and raise him correctly.
Oh no, miss me on that.
Yeah, but at that point he's just a baby in a Warren said.
Yeah.
Baby Hitler.
Yep, I'm saving a baby.
Yeah.
I felt like that was an easy one. Like, to say people are innately compassionate, for me, there's no real way to prove it. It is what it is. But there's a baby on a well. I'm gonna save a baby. Oh Jesus!
What's the difference, bro?
Would you say the same thing about Donald Trump? If it was Donald Trump on that well, would you push him?
Oh god.
Jeez.
Is it a
How
well or
are
a
you gonna
wall?
put
Haha!
like below Hitler? Like how do you put Kim below Hitler? Like doesn't make sense. Anyway,
All right.
Yeah. Mengzi, you done messed up.
yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. It's
We're moving on.
It's
Let's move
idealistic.
on then. Let's
All
keep
right.
it. Let's keep it rolling.
Sleeping Beauty.
What is this
Who
one?
hasn't read yet? More?
Sleeping Beauty takes part in an experiment where researchers put her to sleep. She is told that a fair coin will be flipped. At each waking, she is put back to sleep with a drug that will make her forget that waking. They toss a fair coin. If it lands tails, she will be briefly awakened on Monday and Tuesday. If it's heads, she will only be awakened on Monday. When she awakes on Monday, not knowing what day it is it credence? What credence should she have that the coin landed heads?
So what's the question? Like,
On to the next one.
does she? What is the thought? What is the odds of her knowing that it's Monday? Is that what they're asking?
I think so. What does credence mean?
Bring it up, Danny.
Yeah, Danny.
I'm on it. Belief in or acceptance of something as true.
So if she's just told that it's Monday, what percentage
Like
is she
why?
going to accept that?
Like
no,
what?
she doesn't even know it's
why should-
Monday. She
why
just
should-
wakes
No,
up.
no, like if someone were to say it's Monday, if she's
Yeah.
being awakened and someone says it's Monday, what are the chances of her believing it's Monday?
Or why should she believe it? Is
Well,
she
I think because
gonna
there's
believe
a
it very
there's
strongly.
a higher percentage that it's going to be Monday. I math it. That's how I view it. Because if she's going to be awakened either once or 2 times, and 2 out of 3 of those times it's going to be a Monday, then I'd have a better chance of believing that it's Monday.
I'm
But yo, she forgets that she wakes up every time she wakes up.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, so like if you look at the chart, if there's a possibility of her waking up 3 times, and she'll never know which day it is each of those times, 2 of those possibilities are Monday.
Hmm.
Like if I was her, I would believe more if someone told me it was Monday, or if someone told me it was more than someone telling me it was Tuesday
Right. Right.
type thing.
So just by math is your answer.
That's what I would do.
What credence? So you're gonna give it a percentage?
That's funny. Looking at the significance, you see it.
Oh,
let's
but
see.
it's not that she believes it's Monday. It's what credence does she have that it landed heads?
Oh, that it landed heads.
Hmm.
Oh, that's different.
That is different. I
None
thought it was
whatsoever.
just-
She's just like, I'm going back to bed.
So then would it be less? Would it be the other way?
The other way.
Because if she's only going to be woken up once when it's heads, then it should be a third.
Actually, no, you can't even math it because every time she wakes up, she forgets.
Yeah, but then by the same chart, if it's a chance of it being heads or a chance of it being tails, there's more chance of it being tails. So now I'm looking at the same thing, or I am using the same argument, but instead of more chances on Monday, I'm doing more chances on tails. So I would say a third.
Sorry.
As
hold
opposed
on,
to
she's told that
2/3.
the fair will be flipped. At each waking, she is put back to sleep. The tough. If it lands tails, she will briefly be awakened on Monday.
Because she doesn't know what day it is. She only can assume she's being woken up based on the flip of a coin. And if the flip of a coin of heads, there's only 1 chance of her, and tails, there's 2 chances of her. That's 3 outcomes. So I don't know. That's how I would see it. What is significance of?
Why couldn't they wake her up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
No, it's just
It's
a
only
Monday.
2 days. It's a week
Tuesday.
of 2 days, right?
And then at that point, it's like, who cares? At that point, it's like, does it matter what day? Oh my God, Sleeping Beauty just woke up.
But check it. Check it.
Wait, why are you awake?
Even if she wakes up on Monday, briefly wakes up, and then for the entire week, she just woke up once instead of twice. Never knows what day it is. To her, I don't think it would ever change. She doesn't even think about. I think to her, yeah, it's
So that she's going to wake up on Monday no matter what. So when she wakes up on Monday, she doesn't know what day it is.
Yeah.
What credence should we have if the coin landed heads?
If she was if she was savvy to kind of the situation that she would be woken up on Monday or Tuesday, it would make sense to think that the possibility of waking up on a Monday is a third.
No,
Well,
she
the
always
possibility
wakes
of waking up with it being heads is a third. Well, I guess for either one, it's Monday and its heads, it's a third. Monday and its tails, it's a third. And
Yeah.
Tuesday, its tails, it's a third. So,
But we're still
Three
saying, given the
significance.
situation, it would still be more likely that she's being woken up on a Monday.
yeah, and also woken up by a tails. So that's what I mean. Like it's the same argument, just reversed.
Yeah.
We're there.
But then after Wednesday, Thursday, it's Friday day. Saturday, Sunday. And then back to sleep.
Okay,
And wake up again.
significance. You might think that the chance of the coin being heads is half. After all, the baseline chance is half. And Beauty does not receive any new information. But Adam Elga thinks Beauty's credence should be a third. Beauty doesn't know whether it's Monday or Tuesday, so she should think that it could be either. Given that when Beauty awakes, probability of tails on Tuesday equals probability of tails on Monday equals probability of heads on Monday. The probability of each is a third. Was that philosophical? No.
I feel like that's just a math question.
That's a math
It's a math question and an interpretation kind of thing. Like, I guess the rules are pretty clear.
It's like it's a question that's based on the subject in the experiment, on their thought process rather than ours. It's kind of like what was it? I think I was reading an educational psychology thing in university, and it was like, okay, two kids are playing with a ball, and one kid leaves, and the other kid puts the ball in the cupboard and then leaves. When the kid comes back, will children hearing this story know that the kid won't know where to look, type thing? So will kids understand that that kid doesn't know that the ball's in the cupboard? So you're trying to get someone from the experiment or someone who's observing the experiment to put their mindset in the eyes of the actual
child.
experiment. Yeah.
So hold on, there's child A, child B. They have a ball.
Yeah. Child A leaves. Child B puts the ball in a drawer
Yeah.
and then leaves.
Okay.
Child A comes back. And then the question for the kids, for the kids who's looking at this experiment.
So now we're looking at child C, or like the observer.
Yeah, the
Okay.
observer. So will the observer know that child A doesn't know where to look?
There is an age where, a lot of kids would look and expect child A to know that the ball is in
That the ball is in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
at a young age. You would think that. You're like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, you know, it's
Yeah,
in
child
cupboard.
A goes
You
into
just
the
get it in
cupboard
cupboard.
right there.
And that is critical thinking, right? At
Yeah.
some age, you should determine that that child A actually didn't see child B put it away, but we did.
Mm.
At some age this develops.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel this situation is. Like
We're an observer looking.
from Beauty's,
Day-Day's concept.
Yeah.
we have to go from Beauty's perspective of she doesn't know what day it is, so she has to go by odds, not by what we know that it's Monday. She has no idea that it's Monday.
Every day is the same to her.
Kind of like us, COVID.
Yay.
All right. Shall we move on? Last
Yeah.
one? Two more? I guess it
Whatever.
depends what this last one is. Who wants to read?
It's for all the artsies out there.
Oh, the old people one?
Otto and Inga visit a museum. The thought experiment. Otto and Inga both want to visit the Museum of Modern Art. Otto has Alzheimer's. He consults a notebook that he always carries with him. His notebook plays the same role as biological memory usually does. It tells him that the Museum of Modern Art is on 53rd Street. Inga consults her biological memory and forms the same belief. Now it would seem that Inga has a tacit belief about where the museum is before she retrieves it from her biological memory. But what about Otto? Although it is not stored in his brain, but in a notebook, can we say that Otto's entry about the museum's location is a belief?
Oh, it's turning into the whole question of, are thoughts real? Are thoughts only things that happen in our brains or also in the world?
Well, specifically to this, he places faith on the book. Because he knows he has Alzheimer's and can't trust his memory. So at some point he places faith on the book. And
So does
say,
he believe he knows where it is?
Can we say that Otto's entry about the museum's location is a belief?
And not a fact.
Correct. Yes, is my answer.
I agree.
Well,
Oh my-
yes, because it's based on faith. It's not on fact for him. He doesn't know. He has to believe that the book is telling him the truth. So that's faith, right? So it's a belief. Anything in that book is a belief that he's believing in. It's not actually fact for him until he actually checks it. And it's true. That's at least the way I understand it. My answer is yes.
That's fair. The
So I
same.
guess the question is the way that we're storing information in our brain the same as a book?
Well, the woman, should say, it says, now it would seem that Inga has a, I don't know what tacit means, but it would seem that Inga has a belief about where the museum is before she retrieves it from her biological memory.
I think you can.
Understood or implied without being stated.
So a strong belief, more or less.
Yeah.
And aren't all thoughts beliefs?
Example, your silence may be taken to mean tacit agreement.
Okay. Tyler says, then aren't all thoughts beliefs?
And not fact.
I don't think they are, and if the thought is based off of an experience that's been observed with one of or all of the five senses or whatever combination.
So
That's fact.
love. Were you ever in love for realsies?
For realsies.
Yeah.
I like how that's
It's subjective. It's subjective.
That was quite philosophically phrased.
For realsies.
For real, for real? BFF, for real, for real?
Significance. Are thoughts only things that happen in our brains or also in the world? It seems in this case that Otto's notebook works exactly the same way as Inga's brain. So if we call Inga's memory of the location of the museum a belief, we should call Otto's also a memory, even though it's not in his brain. Now you can say that it is not a belief, because someone could tamper with his notebook or steal it. But Inga's brain can also be affected, for instance, when she is drunk. Now, it would seem that Inga has a belief where the museum is before she retrieves it from her biological memory. Where does that statement come from? Now, it would seem that Inga has a belief about where the museum is before she retrieves it. Where does that come from?
Well, it's just the fact that she's been there before, and instead of writing it down, she just holds it hard in her head, right?
Well, it says
So if she had to go back,
they
she could
both
figure
want
it
to
out.
visit it. They both want to visit it. I don't think they've been there before.
Never mind. I thought they'd been there before.
I think they've both been there before. She's just recalling, like, assume that she hasn't been there in like 2 years.
Oh, good. So it wasn't just me that interpreted it that way. Yeah, my understanding
Yeah.
is because how did Otto know where it is if he hadn't written his book? If he has
Yeah.
gotten his book, they've visited it before.
And I think it's just her recalling that
Okay, yeah, she's remembering. Okay.
I remember that it's here. That's the belief. And then she confirms that by accessing the knowledge in her brain. Hmm.
Are thoughts only things that happen in our brains or also in the world? But you brought up the question of are thoughts beliefs? That's also a good question.
Also based off
I
an
think
experience.
there's a lot
Tyler
of
says.
thoughts that are just stupid thoughts, right? Like they don't
Yeah.
fall into the umbrella of
They
belief.
They could be hypothetical.
Right.
They could
It's
just,
just it's just thoughts.
be random. Mm-hmm. Are all our thoughts only things that happen in our brains or also in the world? That's just classification
Both.
of.
Both.
I don't really like this one. I don't know why.
Yeah. Should we end up in a strong one? Who wants to read Invisible Gardener?
The Russian one was
one?
cool. The
Russian
Russian
one?
one.
All right,
Russian
let's
noble.
go to the Russian one.
Oh, hey, it looks like
The Russian one.
Prince or.
The
It's
Russian nobleman.
Oh, let me
The
switch
thought
it.
experiment. A young, idealistic Russian nobleman intends to give his estates to peasants upon inheriting them. He also realizes that his ideals might fade. Therefore, he puts this intention into a legal document that can only be revoked by his wife. And he asks her to promise him. She will not consent if he changes his mind later on. He even says that these ideals are essential to him. If I lose these ideals, I want you to think that I cease to exist. Now, suppose that in middle age, the Russian nobleman does ask his wife to revoke the documents. What should she do? Go by the promise, since he was so adamant about.
If I were the
his-
wife, I'd hold true to it. I wouldn't revoke it.
Because he goes far as to say that his ideals are essential to him, and if he loses them, just go with that he ceases to exist. Yeah.
I think when I thought about this, I was thinking, I wouldn't give it back or I wouldn't revoke the documents unless he makes a really good case. But then even in that situation, the minute I said that, I'm like, never mind. I am contradicting myself. Because what, his intent was to give the estates to peasants? If that was his initial goal, as his wife, I would still hold him to it. Especially after that conversation of no,
I think they're leaning towards the idea that if he changes, right? Should you so he's a different person. So should you listen to this person who he is now, or do you
Go with the
listen to
past.
person
Respect
who
the
he
original
was?
wish.
Yeah.
Because it's his estate. But
And
he
then
drafted
furthermore-
he drafted the document though, so it's binding. If it's a mistake, it's his fault.
Then is she really married to the same person she married a long time ago?
All right. Who wants to read significance?
I read it already.
Anyone? Just for the viewers out there.
Significance. This is a puzzle about personal identity. Is the old Russian nobleman the same as the young man? Should his wife be released from her promise?
No. Because it was a promise.
Yeah, I would still say no.
Hmm.
Because those things were based on his essential ideals.
Okay, I just for fun, I will play devil's advocate here, because it says a young, idealistic Russian nobleman. So think about a decision like a
That you
I
made
believe that
when-
you had as a young person that you have since changed. Like, let's say I was a religious little boy, and now I'm not. So, what if I made this promise as a Catholic little boy? This like a very similar thing, and now I'm not. So now I'm like, so let's say I made this promise with this girl, and now we're like way later on in life, and I'm saying I'm not even Catholic anymore. Like, forget about that. Forget about that. I'm a different person. Believe me now. This is who I am now. So forget about what I said. So that's my other side.
Well, they specifically tried to formalize. It's not your promise. You drafted a legal document, right? And which is binding to the action that you. Okay, sure, it's promissory that you're gonna give away whatever, and then you place that responsibility on someone else, a third person, to carry out the legal document, the promise, because she's the only one with power. So I guess she has legal power to change it.
She has the power.
Mhm.
So should she believe
What should
the
she
older
do? Yeah,
person over the young person? And I say, yeah,
I
because
would
young
say.
people could have beliefs or make decisions that they regret and can change.
Mhm.
What if she grows in the same way he does and is like, yeah, you know what? That was a
she
dumb
agrees.
idea.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's up to her. It's up to whatever ideal and values she's inherited or learned up until that point for her to decide what should she do, what she thinks is right. It's not an answer of she should honor the promise or revoke the promise. She should just do what she thinks is right at that time. when
Yeah.
it's faced-
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
It's
You know
just
what?
good
Giving
to answer like that question. Like, what should she do? Whatever she wants to do. Don't.
What a
Next. This is
stupid example.
This is so easy. Next.
Can you imagine the shade of blue? Yes. Next.
Perfect. 100%. Perfect score.
Hundo.
That was good though. We saw two different sides that made sense.
It's also because the initial reaction was the fact that we've already placed significance on a promise because it's how we hold our promises now as mature adults. What we think a promise should mean.
Who are you calling mature?
Who are you calling adult?
Yeah.
Do you know how tall I am?
I did hesitate.
Do you see what I look like? I fit in with all the high school kids I tutor. God damn it.
Also based off an experience. Oh, sorry, Tyler. I totally missed those from Otto and the thoughts are all thoughts, beliefs. But for Otto, it's written in a book, also based off an experience. Sorry, super late on that. So, chat, did you like today's episode of going through philosophical thought experiments? Would you like to please smash that like button if you want it to happen again in the future? Comment 1 or comment 2 if you'd like something else completely different.
That's funny.
That was cool. Kind of a light one there. Any final thoughts, guys?
My brain is so burnt out after tutoring. I don't even know if I provided anything in this one. Was I even
told you,
talking?
man.
I didn't even hear myself.
It was a fun little.
The coolest
good,
one
it
was
was
the
cool.
Matrix.
Back and
The
forth.
Matrix one was cool. That's the one that actually made us consider stuff the most.
Also, shout out to chat. Feel free to recommend topics.
Yes. What do you guys want to hear us talk
We'll
about?
talk about anything.
Because we're so experty. For reals, for reals.
We may not know much about anything, but we'll talk about anything.
We'll talk about how much we don't know. And related to some obscure thing that
We
we
should have that for
experienced.
one, where all we do is look for stuff we don't know.
Then
then
make critical
learn.
decisions
It's a
about them.
learning podcast, and we just learn a bunch of stuff. Like, wow.
We end up watching Dora the Explorer. Duh, the ball's in the cupboard. What?
He's hiding under the bridge, Dora. Duh.
Nah, Magic School Bus. Magic School Bus.
Magic school bus?
Magic School Bus.
Sorry, what's the Magic School Bus? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Dan, I do not remember watching Bedazzled. That was so
Really?
long ago. I really
can't
don't.
remember
Somebody
either.
else? God.
I do recall Elizabeth Hurley and Brandon Fraser, but that's about it. I ain't got.
Is it frozen? Hopefully not. But yeah, we will be back again next Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We were a little late today, sorry. But is someone gonna write something? All right, guys, peace out. Have a great week. We're gonna be running.
Yeah, I think I can do an extra session.
Thanks for watching. Peace out.